There's this unmistakable energy that takes over a basketball arena when everything's falling apart on the court. You feel it in how the players carry themselves. You hear it from the fans getting restless, and you see it in how the ball just dies every time someone touches it. So when Team USA tipped off against Italy, that's exactly what we got for the opening 3 minutes. Complete offensive breakdown. Here we had the most talented collection of women's basketball players you could possibly assemble, and they looked absolutely lost out there. They couldn't crack an international defense that should have been easy work. 3 minutes in and the score was tied at 5. 5 measly points from what's supposed to be an unstoppable force. Everyone watching had the same thought running through their heads. When is this coaching staff going to wake up and fix this starting lineup disaster?
Of absolute breathless panic. They had to extend their defensive pressure out to the 30-foot mark, terrified of Clark's limitless shooting range. And the absolute second they extended that pressure, the Team USA offense became an unstoppable, synchronized machine.
Let's get this going. Let me just... Oh! Misdirection, backdoor, take it to the rack, layup. Folks, look at the score actually. 5-5. We only scored 5 points in the first 3 minutes of this game.
The people running this program keep pushing the same tired story. They want us to believe that experience automatically equals results, that grinding through slow, methodical possessions is somehow the smart play internationally, and that Caitlin Clark should just sit there quietly while the veterans handle business. Well, against Italy, that entire philosophy got completely exposed. The traditional starters were getting their reality check and failing miserably. The offense had zero life to it whatsoever. Chelsea Gray, who's obviously a brilliant floor general with an incredible track record, was trying to run a system that moved like molasses, way too methodical, completely telegraphed, and missing that explosive element needed to crack open Italy's defensive setup. This thing was turning into exactly the kind of ugly grind fest that nobody wanted to see.
But oh, go behind the back here. Oh, in between the legs. Oh, let me stop, hold on. Turn around, fade away, in your face. Eat that.
Then something clicked on the sideline. Head coach Cara Lawson was handling her March Madness responsibilities, so assistant coach Nate Tibbetts was calling the shots. Tibbetts looked at this mess unfolding in front of him, saw that scoreboard stuck in neutral, and made the move that any smart basketball mind would make. He threw all the politics out the window. Forget about managing egos and respecting hierarchies. 3 minutes into the game, he turned to the bench and called number 22.
She said some nice, up. Yup, free up some space. Step back. Signature Caitlin Clark 3 with the step back going left. Angel Reese actually excited about it, if you can believe it. If you can believe it. Look at all that space. Pull up. Bang! To end the quarter.
What happened next wasn't just a momentum swing. This was a complete and total destruction of everything Italy thought they understood about this game. When Caitlin Clark checked in, Team USA had managed 5 points total. Over the following 6.5 minutes with Clark running the show, they absolutely detonated for 23 points. Think about those numbers for a second, because the math is absolutely ridiculous. 5 points in 3 minutes without her on the floor. 23 points in 6.5 minutes with her controlling the offense. This wasn't just improvement, this was watching an offense get completely rebuilt in real time.
Where is she? There she is. Gives Caitlin Clark the ball. Caitlin Clark pushing it. Paige already up the... Oh, look at the threading the needle. Sweet. Oh, in between two defenders. Pass was so good that defender almost fell over. Look at that. Pass so good, up, stumbling.
The second Clark got her hands on the basketball, the entire court opened up like someone had pulled back a curtain. Those Italian defenders who spent 3 minutes camping in the paint and jumping passing lanes suddenly found themselves in complete chaos. They were getting stretched beyond their breaking point.
Strategy is the plus-minus. Caitlin Clark finished this game with a team-high plus 25 rating. Let us contextualize that number. In a basketball game where the middle quarters were highly competitive, the minutes where Clark was on the floor were an absolute bloodbath. When she played, Team USA was 25 points better than the Italian national team. The team scored 28 points in the first quarter when she entered the game early, and 24 points in the fourth quarter when she was allowed to close it out. When she sat, the team looked lost. The contrast was so stark, so undeniable, and so glaringly obvious that it felt like we were watching two completely different basketball teams wearing the exact same jerseys. We have officially reached a critical juncture in the Team USA experiment. The time for political correctness has passed. The time for protecting the egos of established veterans is over. You do not leave a player who generates a 102% true shooting percentage, a plus 25 impact rating, and entirely transforms your sluggish offense into a high-octane machine sitting on the bench for the opening tip. It is no longer just a strategic error, it is becoming legitimately ridiculous. The interim head coach, Nate Tibbetts, saw the truth 3 minutes into the game. He saw the offensive emergency, he hit the panic button, and he brought in the savior. But it shouldn't require an offensive emergency to play your best player. It shouldn't require a 5-point drought to realize that your traditional lineup is completely obsolete. The international competition is only going to get tougher. The physical demands are only going to increase. And if Team USA wants to guarantee their dominance on the global stage, they need to stop playing games with the rotation, stop worrying about seniority, and hand the undisputed keys to the offense over to the player who literally saved them from an embarrassing start. Thank you for tuning in to the most relentless, tactically driven basketball analysis on the internet. We do not deal in the mainstream narratives, we do not protect the establishment, and we only speak the truth based on the game tape and the advanced analytics. If you are tired of the clickbait and want to understand the actual X's and O's of women's basketball, make sure you smash that subscribe button and leave a like on this video. Let me know in the comments section below, is it officially time for the coaching staff to swallow their pride, bench a veteran, and name Caitlin Clark the permanent starting point guard for the United States national team? I will see you in the next breakdown.
Just look at the pure basketball genius happening on this particular play. Clark's got the ball, and every Italian defender is locked onto her like a laser. They're expecting the deep three, they're ready for the screen action, but Clark pulls off this beautiful misdirection move. She uses her eyes to sell one thing while setting up something completely different, finding this tiny crack in their baseline coverage. The backdoor cut gets executed perfectly, and Clark fires a pass that completely embarrasses their defensive rotation, setting up the easiest bucket you'll ever see. This isn't just finding the open man, this is manipulating 5 professional defenders into giving you exactly what you want. She's operating on a completely different intellectual level than everyone else. Now, as incredible as that first quarter explosion was, the real proof of what Clark brings to this team actually came when they decided to sit her down. During the second and third quarters, the coaching staff went back to their comfortable rotations. They parked their offensive catalyst on the bench, probably thinking they needed to manage her minutes. What happened next was a complete tactical meltdown. The offense immediately turned back into that same sluggish nightmare we saw in the opening minutes. Without Clark's presence forcing Italy to respect the entire court, their defense just collapsed back into the paint. All those beautiful passing lanes disappeared. Those easy transition buckets vanished, replaced by contested isolation shots late in the clock. The numbers tell the whole story here. During those middle quarters, without Caitlin Clark on the floor, Team USA only managed to outscore Italy by 7 points total. 7 points! It turned into a street fight for every single basket. Exactly the kind of game where upsets happen on the international stage. They looked completely human out there, desperately hoping someone would bail them out with individual heroics instead of having any kind of coherent system. They were drowning in their own mediocrity. Then the fourth quarter arrived, and the coaching staff finally did what the entire basketball world had been screaming for. They put Caitlin Clark, Paige Buckers, and Kelsey Plum on the court together. Anyone who still questions her ability to destroy elite international defenders in isolation needs to watch this sequence until it's burned into their memory. We keep hearing these ridiculous takes about how she's just a 3-point shooter, how she doesn't have the tight handles of a real point guard. This play completely obliterates that nonsense. She gets isolated on the wing, hits them with the behind the back move that freezes the defender completely, flows right into the between the legs dribble to get her rhythm, stops on a dime, and rises up for this turnaround fadeaway right in the defender's face. The form is absolutely flawless. Her footwork looks like a textbook. The release is lightning quick. That's the kind of shot that breaks a defender's soul because you can play perfect defense and it doesn't matter one bit. She's a complete scorer operating at an elite level. But the fourth quarter wasn't just about individual brilliance. This was about seeing real team chemistry develop and putting an end to all those toxic narratives about locker room drama. We've we've been hearing non-stop chatter about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark refusing to work together, people analyzing every frame of video to prove some conspiracy theory. The game tape from this fourth quarter completely destroys that garbage narrative. Check out the beautiful teamwork on this play. Angel Reese, the same player the internet swears hates playing with Clark, sets this absolutely devastating screen. She completely wipes out the perimeter defender, does all the grunt work to create the space. Caitlin Clark takes advantage of that space with surgical precision. She uses her trademark step back move, fading left to create massive separation, and launches this absolute bomb from way beyond the arc. Ball rips through the net, and Angel Reese is right there celebrating with genuine excitement. That's what winning basketball looks like, using everyone's individual talents to create something unstoppable as a group. Reese brings the physical presence and Clark delivers the long-range execution. When those two are clicking together in ball screens or handoff situations, there's no defensive scheme on earth that can handle them. If the half-court chemistry wasn't scary enough for international teams, the transition attack we saw in the fourth quarter was a masterpiece in offensive speed. When you grab a defensive rebound, you've got maybe 2.5 seconds to catch the defense scrambling. If you've got a traditional point guard who wants to walk the ball up court, that opportunity is gone. But when your point guard's natural instinct is to sprint, fast breaks become absolutely lethal. Watch how this develops. Kiki Iraefen makes a great job pulling down this rebound through contact, but the crucial part is what happens next. She doesn't try to dribble it herself or play hero ball. She immediately finds her point guard and makes the fundamental outlet pass. The instant that ball hits Caitlin Clark's hands, Italy's defense is in serious trouble. Paige Bullakers, reading the situation perfectly, takes off down court at full speed. What comes next is pure basketball artistry. Clark is pushing the pace at maximum speed while reading the retreating defense like a book. She sees Buchers flying toward the rim, but there are two Italian defenders positioned perfectly in the passing lane. For almost every point guard in the world, that window is completely shut. You slow it down and run a set, but Clark doesn't see closed windows. She fires this absolutely impossible pass with so much pace and accuracy that it literally makes the trailing defender stumble and nearly fall trying to get a hand on it. The ball finds Buchers in perfect stride for the easy finish. When you've got Caitlin Clark and Paige Buchers sharing the floor, it's not just easy basketball. It's an absolute clinic in spacing, shooting, and playmaking that makes everything look completely effortless. The difference between the grinding, painful basketball of quarters 2 and 3 versus the beautiful, flowing, high-speed offense of quarters 1 and 4 came down to one player's presence on the court. The final statistics make the most compelling argument against Team USA's current starting lineup philosophy. The production Clark delivered in this game reaches almost absurd levels of dominance. Caitlin Clark ended up with 12 points, 5 assists, and a completely mind-blowing 102% true shooting percentage. In advanced basketball analytics, true shooting percentage captures a player's overall efficiency by factoring in all field goals, three-pointers, and free throws. Posting a 102% true shooting number means you're performing at a level of offensive perfection that's basically mathematically impossible to maintain. It means you're maximizing every single touch, every shot opportunity, and every possession. But the most damaging statistic for this coaching staff, the number that completely reveals the rotational flaw in their approach.